We're continuing with the book, The Science of Self-Empowerment. And this is our last Sunday, the third week in this series. And I've gotten some feedback. People agree and disagree with the information I've been sharing. Yahoo! Now, that's my favorite kind of message, is when people are so interested, they're actually listening. They're doing more research. Roland was looking things up. Other people were watching things. So isn't it fascinating? That's my new unity word. My unity word used to be interesting. Isn't that interesting? My new unity word is, isn't that fascinating? I say it to many, many comments that I get. Wow, that's so fascinating. That's my non-judgmental way of saying, oh, well, I wouldn't have thought of that, but it's interesting. I woke up this morning thinking about my grandfather. My grandfather was a doctor in the early 20s. He was a scientist, actually, at heart. He grew up on a little Kentucky farm. Actually, it was a plantation. And he ran away. His mother wanted him to become a minister. He ran away, went to med school in Nashville at Vanderbilt University. He did research on x-rays. Now, x-ray in the 1910s, 1920 was totally experimental. And everyone thought it wouldn't work and it would hurt people and it would, which it had aspects of it in the beginning. He joined a group from Johns Hopkins Hospital and joined the British Army before the United States entered the war. I have a medal from King George that he actually received, and he was one of the prime surgeons in the field doing surgery on soldiers who would have died because they now knew where the bullet was. They had x-ray. They could discover, they could find, and they could pinpoint where the surgery needed to happen. Now, for years, people had talked about x-rays and had been, put down. But my grandfather believed in it. And he came back to St. Louis. I can remember going into his office. His office was about this big, and half of it was x-ray machines. I'd go into, what's that? What's that? He went on to work with the St. Louis Zoo as one of the first people in the country to do x-rays on large animals. Mama lion that couldn't birth her little ones, he was able to see where the babies were inside of the mama lion, adjust it, and those babies came out. My mother had her picture in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. So just thinking about scientific discoveries over the years and how something that was thought impossible became possible. Just think over and over, these microphones, people were yelling. Just think about the music, the piano, the sound system, the Wi-Fi, everything, so much in our lives. Eyeglasses, the way we cook, the way we do things in our life were seemed impossible that today are possible. So as we think about ideas in science and DNA, which we didn't even know was what we were made of, let's have an open mind. I got it. One. Okay, well, I could ask that question again. Let's have an open mind. Yes. All right. Thank you so much. So Greg Braden starts out The Science of Self-Empowerment about talking about how perhaps, I'm going to use that word, perhaps the teachings that the scientific teachings that we learned in school about evolution might not be true. So scientists today are discovering that 200,000 years ago, just one more zero, Victoria, 200,000 years ago, two more zeros. See, you're listening. I love this crowd. You're awake. Oh my goodness. Okay, 200,000 years ago, that which we call human beings were discovered, appeared on the planet. And that which was Cro-Magnon man had evolved and developed, and that which is a human being did not evolve. Okay, take a deep breath. So that we are not connected to Cro-Magnon man, that we are a new energy, a new being, and that we have differences, at least one, if probably in research they'll find more, one different chromosome that makes all the difference. So we have insights and abilities that were not in the what we call original primates. And so then there's always the theory of creation, that there was a creator that created us. And as they look at that process in science, they do not see any proof of that. So take a deep breath. If you're one of the people that believe in that, then great. And I've had many discussions with people all over the country in my life as a minister about what is a creator then, and what's the difference between creation and science, and what can we prove? Well, these are not things that we can actually prove, but that we can discover. There's a difference between proving something, discerning something, and discovering something. So the abilities of the human being 200,000 years ago was a neuroactivity between the brain and the heart. And when I first started this discussion 2 weeks ago, I talked about the heart is the lead. The heart and the brain share neurons. The heart is the lead. And scientifically, and we know culturally, down through the ages, through many, many indigenous groups across the world, that the heart carried the wisdom. The heart carried the wisdom. Now, in our world, we think the brain is in charge. However, in the research they're doing, the heart leads the way. And I gave stories about one of the ways they found that out is when they started doing heart transplants. And people that got a heart transplant knew about the whole life of the child or the adult whose heart they got. They never met them, but they knew what kind of food they liked. I told the story about a teenager who was on a motorcycle, was killed. His heart was given to a ballet dancer. She wrote a very famous book about it, and she started craving hot peppers and chicken fingers. And she actually had never been in a McDonald's, but she went in a McDonald's. And eventually, through the writing of her book and all of this, she met the parents of the young man. His favorite food was hot peppers, chicken tenders from McDonald's. Yeah, okay. So now there's books and research about heart transference. That when you receive someone else's heart, you receive their memories. Now we think our memories are in the brain. Research shows the memory is in the heart. And that's why when we remember someone, like I did my grandpa today, I wasn't thinking about him. Now, when I first talk about it, that's how I explain it. I wasn't thinking about my grandpa. I was feeling my grandpa. When we have memories, those are about our heart. We carry it in the heart. All right, we're 200,000 years later. We now are human beings. We have now created, worked, done many different things. And now we realize that the actual things that make us unique is that we have empathy, we have sympathy, we have strong feelings, we have many attributes that those that we evolved from didn't have. Now, as I was reading this, I was also thinking about the elephant. Now, elephants have empathy. So I'm not saying we're that much better than elephants. I watch all these videos on my little phone of the elephant families and how they play together, and they mourn. Elephants mourn their beloveds, and they go back and visit where they died. So we gotta be careful here. And so many animals have deep, deep social heart connections. I'm sure it's different than ours, but I don't want to deny it. I don't want to deny that they don't have sympathy or they don't have empathy. The one thing that has kept us alive and that is unique about human beings is our desire and our need to connect. We need to connect. It is not something that is just happenstance. How do you say that word? Very good, Mariah. Happenstance. Oh, she can do it better than I can. That situation where connection is who we are. That's what kept us alive on this planet through so many geographical disasters. And it's what keeps us alive today, is that we are connected, we know it, and we feel it. Now, I had four things happen this week. And as I was thinking about this today, I went, wow. So one of my best friends who actually worked with me in ministry, Karen St. Clair, for 7 years, like Diane and, where's Diane? Okay. Oh, there. Like Diane and Georgie. So this was my Diane. I was Georgie and Karen was Diane. And we worked together like this. We just love each other. She's moved to Mexico. I'm just saying. Well, she was back this week and we just love to be together. We ended up going to Washington Square. At Washington Square, we love to shop. We're shopping. We walk out, and we had been talking about people who had been in our ministry. And there, sitting on the bench, was our licensed teacher. I couldn't believe it. And she was in tears. And she was with her husband, and they had had a situation that didn't go well. And they had bought something, and then the people got rude with them when they came to pick it up. And they didn't, they're in their middle 80s. They didn't know what to do, and they're sitting there crying. Here come Karen and I. And Jackie just said, I was praying for guidance, and there you are. And we hadn't seen each other for years. And instantly we were connected, right? Instantly. We prayed together, we talked, and one of our dear, dear people, 3 days before Joyce Jones had passed away, I had had a long talk with her daughter, and guess where she was the day before she died? Washington Square. So here we are in the place where Joyce, the day before she died, had been. Here we are with Jackie and Art. Here we are with Karen, all the way from Mexico, right? 2 days later, I'm at Clackamas Center. I walk out, and Mary O'Connell, my dearest, dearest, beloved Mary O'Connell, who I haven't seen in years and years, was on the board of Unity World Healing Center when we bought our property and everything. I had been thinking about her and I was been feeling her, and there she was, walking straight toward me, and we both cried. Connecting is what we're about, and that sense of connection is what makes us thrive. That's what makes this ministry thrive. That's what makes relationships. That's what makes companies thrive. That's what makes the world thrive, is connecting with each other, supporting each other, praying with each other, believing in each other, standing with each other, knowing each other. Now, the heart is what is the connector, not the brain. And in our world, we have put so much emphasis on the brain, so much emphasis on knowledge. And the stepson or stepdaughter became the heart. Now, in Unity, when I talk to people who have visited Unity or gone to Unity in a different part of the country, they will say, I always felt it was about the heart at Unity, not intellectual. Now, I don't want to say we're not intellectual. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is the focus of connecting is at the heart. And how do we do more of that? Not less. I mean, really, you could say we've taken it so far. Cell phones, internet. I mean, we're connecting in ways we never did connect. Would you agree? We are. Are we connecting in a healthy way? Are we connecting in a bonding way? Are we connecting in a trusting way? Greg Braden has a history in his family where he is Cherokee. And he talks about the rituals of the heart. And they don't do rituals about the brain. Their rituals are around the heart and the wisdom of the heart. And the tribe leaders are not talking about the brain. They're talking about healing the heart. So as I'm just put your hand on your heart. Just healing the heart. And what is it that our heart is wanting to connect with? What is something that feels separate from us and yet we want to connect with? There's so many incidents that I've been aware of in my life where people blessed each other without even knowing them. Have you ever experienced that? I just told you 3, 4 of people I love so much, and there they were in my life in 1 week, and I hadn't seen them in years. So when we think about touching people at the heart, we have a prayer ministry in Unity all over the world. And people are praying with us in South Africa. People are praying for us in Australia. And we are praying for people in the United Kingdom. We are all one global network of prayer. I think it's so important. Here we are in Salem, Oregon, and we would think we're this little wonderful, heart-centered community. And we are not alone. We are a part of something that is so big. And we have to remember that. Sometimes we get so focused on ourselves and on our community that we forget we are part of something so large. And the work that Unity does is incredible. Yes? Yes. Globally, in schools, in hospitals, in what the work they're doing in South Africa with teenagers, it's unbelievable. And I just got a message from our president and Worldwide Unity, and I'm going to bring it and show it in a couple of weeks. Our annual report of Worldwide Unity, what's actually going on around the world in Unity. Right. So I just wanted to share this story, and we're going to go into meditation. And I've said it before, but it's one of the things that just means so much to me, how we're connected. Here is an accident that actually happened in Lake Oswego. And I was in a ministry not far from where this accident happened. It was a head-on, very serious accident. And the woman that was in the car that was the head-on was life-flighted and not thought to live. Now, there was so much that was going on to get her out of the car, and it was a main intersection, and all the traffic was stopped, like over an hour. Now, there were 3 cars behind her that were slightly involved. and they were not allowed to get out of their cars. And so they, each one of them individually, saw the license plate and began to pray. Each one of them saw the license plate on that car that had been crushed and began to pray. They sat there over an hour, and they just kept saying blessings, calmness, healing. Eventually, they were allowed, all the traffic was moved, their car, it was over an hour and a half at this time. And they just kept connecting and sending healing prayers, holding complete and wholeness for this person. Not, of course, knowing who this was. When they, all three who didn't know each other, got home, they called the police individually and said, I was one of the cars. I saw the license plate. Can you tell me who this is or where this person, what hospital they went to? So they found out the hospital, each one of them individually calling the hospital, checking in. Over 2 months before that woman left the hospital, and they all reconnected. She was 100% okay. Now, would you and I have done that? Would we have been saying, I want to get out of this car. I can't believe I'm sitting there. I don't know what's wrong with this police system. I know that's none of you. I know. I'm just saying, that's none of you. Right. The power of connection from the heart. Now, the brain's wonderful. They work together. They share DNA. They share chromosomes. All of that's working together, and we need it all. I'm not in any way saying that. What I am saying is many of us have forgotten the power of our heart. And that's what Greg Braden is focusing on now. As we have become such a cerebral world, and we have forgotten our history of the wisdom of the heart. Many of you, I think, have heard of heart math and have participated in heart math. So as our meditation, we're going to use a few ideas from heart math. Before we go into meditation, I just want you to take a moment and think of the people that you connect with on a regular basis. And then think of those that you are longing to connect with, drawing them into your life, getting an email, telephone call, sending a heart message. And it can be from another plane of existence, like my grandpa, or it can be your children, your high school bestie. We never know. We never know. And I'll take the word just out. I'm bringing to us the awareness that this is what this ministry is about. Heart-centered living. Heart-centered connecting. Heart-centered faith. This is Charles and Myrtle's legacy. We are the legacy. And we get to decide how and when and where we access our heart. I don't know if you still have your hand on your heart. If you want to move around in the chair. Now, I like to wiggle up. Just go ahead. Close your eyes. Nobody's looking. Just move, just move a little. Shrug those shoulders. Oh my goodness, I let go. Wiggle your hands. Oh, I carry so much tension in my hands. I don't know about everyone else. Wiggle that hand, shake it out, put that leg out. Don't hit the chair in front of you. We're going to spend a few moments in the quiet as we readjust from the head to the heart. So we're going to go through 5 different steps of going inward. We'll begin by being conscious of the breath, breathing in and out, taking the focus away from going to lunch, getting gas in the car, all of those details, bringing the focus to the heartbeat, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. From the place of my heart's deepest knowing, I am being shown a person, a situation, an idea that I want to connect with in my heart. A memory, a person, a situation, an idea. From the single eye of my heart that knows only my truth, I ask for the meaning of this connection in my life. Please help me to understand the significance of this person, this connection in my life. Continuing that breath in and out, consciously aware, listening with your heart. We ask, each in our own way, to understand that connection, for that connection to be reconnected, reimagined, And to remember that our heart is our teacher of wisdom. And so it is. And so it is. Amen. One of the ways the heart teaches us is intuition. Everyone has intuition. It's not a gift that some people have, or that more women have than men. Growing up, I was told women have intuition. And I thought that meant that men were smart. They didn't have it. I had the benefit of intuition, and they had the benefit of understanding math or something. We all have intuition. We all have the ability to listen and follow. And there's Elizabeth. Every time Elizabeth is calling me, I know it's her on the phone before I answer. Do you have anyone like that in your life? Do you have intuition about what's going to be on sale, or who you're going to see, or whether something is going to work for you or not? So realizing that intuition is one of the things that came with being human. It's in our DNA. Intuition is in our DNA. Do we use it? Do we trust it? Good. That's good. Because intuition is directly connected to your heart. And so it is. And so it is.